So today we will have 3 additional principles that we will discuss. Grow giver's heart, become a trusted guide, and make a wonderful contribution. Now, the first 5 principles out of 6 are actually meant to support the 6th one. These first 5 are powerful pillars of being successful in the 6th one, and the 6th one is make a wonderful contribution. So, grow giver's heart. We have a couple of points here in relation to growing giver's heart. I first want to speak about abundance mentality and scarcity. Many people have scarcity mentality. What does that mean? It means that always something is lacking. They always see, I need this, I need that. They think, this is lacking, that is lacking, I don't have this. If only I would have this, I would be happy. If only I would have that, I would be happy. If only other people change, I would be happy. Maybe parents, teachers, neighbors, friends, they influence this kind of self-talk that there is a lack. And people come to me for a session and they say, oh, I need this, I need that, this is lacking, that is lacking. I say, let's please take pen and paper and first write down everything you have in your life already. And when they start writing, they realize how much they already have. And one realization from this kind of exercise is that you see that you are not grateful for what you have. So if we are not grateful for what we have, then why would God give us something else? Why would God give us more? If He has given us whatever we have, and we are always complaining, so would you be inspired to give to someone who is complaining about... I remember my stepdaughter, when she was very small, I gave her 10 dinars. I mean, dinar is in Serbia, is a currency, and it's, what can you buy for 10 dinars at that time? You could buy maybe one little bag of sweets. So, at that time, as most of the time, I was poor, I didn't have much, but I wanted to give her something. And she said, oh, only 10. And I said, oh, you don't want it, give it back. And she said, no, it's okay. So, if she would say, oh, thank you so much, I would probably give double. So, if we are grateful for little, whoever is a giver, whether it's God or any human being, I think they would be inspired to give more. So giving has to do with gratitude. If you want to be a giver, you are grateful for what has been given to you. You are grateful for what has been given to you. So we have this, we call it Bhagavan principle. Bhagavan is the name of God, and it means that God is the possessor of all opulences. He is not a poor person. And the universe is abundant. Even modern self-help teachers say that universe is abundant. And if we recognize the abundance in our lives and become grateful, then we will even experience abundance in all areas of life. So one important question is, what do you have? What do you have? Are you aware of what you have been given already? Do you know that some people don't have one hand or two hands? Some people don't have legs. Some people cannot see. So our teacher, Srila Prabhupada, said that we should be grateful for the air we breathe, for the water we drink, for the earth we walk on, for the things that we take for granted. All these things that we take for granted. Thank you. To become an effective giver, it's important to become aware of the abundance and to become grateful. And you have heard of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Thank you. I also have a Lakshmi seminar. The subtitle is Financial Competence for Devotees. And this seminar is also often well attended because devotees are also interested in making money. And sometimes they have financial problems. And there, you see, even financial success is not an accident. I think you have heard this, but it never hurts to repeat it. Even financial success is not an accident. Why some people have money and why some people don't have money.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Why financial success is not
An accident.
It's not an accident.
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 Okay.
It's not an accident.
Yeah. Why some have and why some don't?
Yeah. So sometimes people come to me and say, I don't have money, and I ask them, so do you work? Oh no, I don't work. So how can you expect to have money? In the Bhagavad Gita there is a description of that no one can maintain even his physical body without work. You may say, oh, some people have money even without work. Yes, but they were working in the past lives, or this life in the past. It's not an accident that they are now enjoying money without working. This is not an accident. Now you can learn how to make more money. Maybe even if it's not your karma, maybe God wants to give you some extra. Especially if you become His devotee, then He actually can erase your karma. If you have karma to be poor, you can become rich. But He will ask you what you will use it for. What you will use this abundance or this wealth for.
Yes.
Money is energy, and it also comes from God. And it is said that if you serve Narayan, his wife Lakshmi will be favorable to you. So therefore, we are trying to be grateful for everything we get. And it's our nature, our eternal characteristic is service and giving. We cannot be happy by being selfish. So if somebody understands that it is in his own interest to become a giver and to become a servant, then he can experience actually great pleasure from giving. Sanatan Dharma. Dharma means something that you cannot take away from something. Eternal characteristic. Like sugar is sweet. This is his main quality. Salt is salty. Water is transparent and liquid. Certain things have their main quality. Similarly, our main quality is service. Service with love. And therefore, we cannot be happy without giving. And this is why it's in our own interest to grow giver's heart. To grow giver's heart. Someone wrote that the happiest people on this planet are not takers but givers, those who give. And also, if you look at the people who are charitable, they usually are never poor. They always have enough. People who have a materialistic mindset, they want to get things. They are greedy. They want to accumulate things and try to enjoy them. But they become anxious to protect their wealth, and they are afraid that somebody will steal it from them, and they are always in anxiety. And they also consider that this is mine. That's why also they are in anxiety. If we understand that everything belongs to God and that we can use it for His service, then we are not in anxiety. Sometimes God takes away things. I remember a few years ago I was in London and I got some donations for my sessions, and these were usually, bigger than usual. Then I went to Greece after England, and in the underground I was robbed. In Greece I was robbed. In Athens. And I was asking Krishna, why did you take this away from me? Because I wouldn't spend it on myself. Anyway, and then Krishna said, if you keep cash, better don't keep cash, but give it away sooner if you want to give it in charity, or put it in the bank. Don't keep cash in your pocket. It's risky, especially in Greece. Greece always has, financial problems. In my country, there is a saying, you are in debt like Greece. Deep debt like Greece. Okay, let's see what else here.
What can we do?
You see from there. Advice for those who complain they don't have money. So, if a devotee or anyone comes to me, you don't have to write all these things. I will just send you, and you have it. Somebody comes and says, I don't have money. And then I say, start giving. So my theory, why someone doesn't have money or is impoverished or poor, is that you are in lack of basic necessities, because in the past you were either very selfish or a thief. So you went karmically into minus. And now, to come to zero, you have to start giving. And to go into plus, you have to start giving. And so they say, but I just told you I have nothing, how can I give? Well, maybe you don't have money at the moment. Whatever money you have, immediately give half in charity. Even if it's a few pounds. Immediately give half in charity. Start giving. You are in minus. You have been taking. You have been a taker, and now become a giver. Start giving. And also, what is very good for poverty is work. To do something, to add value to people's lives, to offer your service. Now, service one can offer if you don't have money. You can offer a smile. You can offer a kind word. That's also very much needed in the market, isn't it? Kind words. Supportive words, encouraging words. You can offer friendship. It is said in the Vedic culture that if you have nothing, at least you can offer some straw mat and a cup of water to a guest. But this is a culture. Vedic culture is a culture of giving. And our last point in this section is, what can we give? If you are a little bit convinced now, after my short talk, that maybe it's not so bad to start giving something, but the question is what? How can you start giving? Well, the easiest thing to start giving is to start giving something you don't need, but you are keeping it. Maybe you have extra clothes, maybe you have extra this, extra that, you can start giving that. But for some people even this is difficult to give because they think, oh, maybe I will need it in the future, or maybe my daughter will need it, or something. So why we are afraid to give? Because we don't believe that we will get in the future what we need. We don't have to keep things. In the Vedic culture, it is said the saintly person should eat as much as it fits in his 2 pounds and should never store food. Okay, maybe today you cannot do this, but I'm just explaining the principle of having faith that you will be provided what you need after you have given, when you're giving. Of course, saintly persons, they give knowledge, they give support, they're compassionate, they give guidance, they listen. So, they provide a lot of service for people. And once one devotee was asked, how do you maintain yourself? And he did this. He said, if I don't get 3 meals, I'm going to put stones around my neck and drown myself in the Ganga. So this is a little bit exaggerated and sounds a little bit like drama queen, or like not drama queen, he's a drama king. Sounds a little bit how you say, yes, arrogant, or like he thinks that somebody should serve him or something like this. But what this story illustrates is that he has so much faith that God will provide whatever he needs, because he's serving God whole day. And if God doesn't provide him, he will not complain and not blame him. He will be happy with some water, or he can go begging. Doesn't mind. Also, Srila Prabhupada was asked by journalists sometimes very provocative questions, and very suspiciously, how do you maintain this movement? Maybe CIA is financing you. And Prabhupada would look at the journalist and said, Krishna is telling people like you to give us money. And the journalist was shocked. And if somebody would tell me, maybe CIA is financing you, I would say, that would be great, but they don't care about us. That would be great. I mean, if they could support us, we need. And they would get purified by helping the spiritual movement and maybe stop, spying activities. So, you can be creative. And now we want to do a little exercise that you think about how would you like to develop your giver's heart. What would you like to start giving today, from tomorrow, or very soon, that you could do with great enthusiasm and pleasure.
Question again, how would you like to?
How will you start to develop your giver's heart, and what would you like to start giving? You can also think about experience when you have been giving something and you are so happy to give that. Maybe it's a food, maybe it's a program, maybe it's a book or knowledge, or what do you like to give to others? What is it that really inspires you to give? So think for a minute. my point is that the giving is pleasure. So that's why I'm asking you to think about when you felt pleasure when you were giving. Giving is not just sacrifice. Giving is pleasure. Maybe you like to give advice. Maybe you like to give ear and listen to advice or listen to experience. Okay, so anybody wants to share? You had like a whole minute to think. Yes?
I would like to give love, selfless love without any agenda, hidden
Oh
agenda.
my God. You start from the highest.
And how would I like to give it?
Uh-huh.
It's basically need of the hour. So how I would like to give in need of the hour at that moment what that person wants. Somebody is distressed, they want to just to listen to them. Somebody wants money, somebody wants food, somebody wants just water. If you want to give, somebody's thirsty and you say no, give them food, money is no point. They want water at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing what is the need of the hour at that time, and to be seeing that how this person I can add value to that person on the hour, on a moment basis. So like 1 hour before, if they're hungry, if the hunger is satiated, then that's not the need of the hour.
You're ready for my next level course. Training how to be a trusted guide, helper. Wonderful, thank you so much. Beautiful, thank you. Anybody else? Everybody else? I mean,
Okay.
it would be good if everybody said.
Mine is much the same. I thought. I mean, I want to give joy,
Okay.
and I do love making people laugh. That's a great pleasure. I'm quite happy just to start with a smile. I mean, and I've done this, walk down the street with a smile, and it's a great feeling. And you will have people smiling back. You'll also have people looking at me like I'm an idiot. I've had that as well, but that's okay. But I'm happy that giving joy is an absolute pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think for me, time. So, especially one of the things I did recently was just speak to some homeless people outside and understanding kind of their journey and like how they've come here and trying to give them kind of moral support. I think for me, just giving that time to them just gives me a lot of like fulfillment.
Would you like to go to the next level? Time meaning listening, understanding, attention.
Yeah, attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, beautiful. That's a big, huge adding of value. Yes?
Yeah, so all I like to give is less anger.
Less anger. To give less. To give less anger. Or to be kinder.
Yeah.
To give more. That's also the great challenge and great progress in comparison to any level that we are at. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
It's a shared knowledge, so it's benefiting both parties.
To give knowledge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because any conversation I have with any problems or could be someone we can street, just a random conversation. We both learn, so you're both benefiting from something where it's not just a one-sided conversation. So you both take knowledge. Yeah.
So you are speaking about exchange.
Exchanging of knowledge. Yeah.
Mutual giving and receiving. That's also wonderful. So the other person is also giving. Sanjay?
Give someone a snack,
Snack?
a flapjack or a
Need
cookie.
volunteers? Like spinach roll?
Cheesecake.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu?
Give someone patience, really. In London especially, everyone's always uptight on it. It's uptight and weight, and I find that affects me a lot as well. I also become like that. You know, there's a person in front of you taking their time, and they can't go any faster. You know, and you know, people getting, and you know, I like to send out this vibration, this patience vibration, patience energy, so the person doesn't feel an anxiety and flustered.
No rush.
Yeah, I mean they're doing their maximum. Do you know what I mean? And then I see sometimes in supermarket queues someone's doing their best, and then there's people you know, getting uptight. Do you know what I mean? So I like to be there and just very patient, very calm, and just, you know what I mean?
I think this is a nice gift. It's a nice gift. It's rare in the modern world also. Okay. We are now asking everybody, so.
Maybe like you said, make people happy and make them laugh. Like make the sad day happy.
Okay.
Because so many people they're so like indulge in their problems, and it's just they need to see the situation in different perspectives. So
Oh,
just to see
that's a great
the
gift.
situation in a different way.
If people can see their situation from the different points of view, it can make a huge difference in their lives.
It's snowing.
No, I think it's pollen.
Oh, is it?
I
Looks
think
like
so.
snow.
I know it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So because you've asked me to say something, I just wanted to say that. So part one was so inspiring that how we've taken things from the first part of the course, and for me personally, I took a lot from that class. I was sitting quietly at the back, but it made so much difference to me because I discovered that. There's so much depression and anxiety in the world, and so many of us are coming from that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come to Krishna consciousness, we bring that mindset with us.
Yes.
But because we're doing something different, we have a tendency to blame an external rather than look at ourselves. So I've had the habit of going, I blame Krishna consciousness that I'm not happy still. But actually, as you do these seminars, I start to realize that actually Krishna consciousness is shining the light on those things and giving the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And so a seminar like this is so important because it's showing us that that we can be positive and make positive steps. And so to answer your question that you were saying, how would you like to start developing your giver's heart? One of the things I'd like to do is, just simply every day write down 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And also, that I would like to be not afraid to trust Krishna, that he has a plan for me that's wonderful and perfect. And then I would like to forgive myself, for all sorts of material things, what you look like, what you eat, these kinds of things. And then what would I like to do to start giving? I'd like to give positivity to my mind and to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And to use that positivity in classes and lectures as well to help give to others.
Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. Positivity. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, do you have any questions about giving?
I haven't got questions about giving. I was just thinking, when you gave that example, I suppose it is, of being in Greece and somebody had stolen the money from you.
Yeah.
And how you sort of accepted it. I was thinking, and the process of acceptance. What about, say, somebody like, say, a mother who loses a child? Money is one thing you lose, but then there's things a lot more precious than money, isn't there, that people lose?
Yes.
I mean, how would a mother say lose a child in childbirth and that sort of thing, and none of this is uncommon. How does one address that sort of loss and still feel you're in abundance?
Yeah.
You know, and that's hugely challenging. Do you have any tips on stuff like that?
Well, first one needs to understand what's happening on a broader level, on the level of the law of cause and effect, law of karma. Nothing is an accident, and everything has a lesson in it. And I know it's not easy to swallow. We will not preach to such person immediately the law of karma, but we try to console first.
Yes.
But if somebody is able to understand that it's not an accident, and that every person, every soul is eternal, actually, and this soul will be born somewhere else, and for some reason this soul is not with us anymore. But the mother, if she becomes serious about self-realization, then everybody who is connected with her, all her relatives, even that child who was very briefly with her, will actually have benefit. This is like starting a chain of virtuousness, chain of mercy. And now you may say, well, it sounds nice, but is it true? How can we believe that? We accept and have experience that God is merciful. But sometimes, I work mainly with devotees, and many devotees don't have huge faith. And sometimes they have doubts. They have this question, does God really care about me? And then we look into their life more deeply and in more detail, and then if they try to be honest, they see actually that they are so cared for. They're so cared for, but they have been taking it for granted. And so we can ask, okay, a woman has lost a child, what is the lesson? So this is something she has to clarify between her and God somehow, and see, what is the lesson here? What does she need to learn? Maybe she can give it a try. I am such a child. My mother lost a child at birth, and then I was the next one. And she gave me so much attention. She's still alive. Because she was afraid that something will happen to me, because the first child died. And I don't know if it was male or female child, but this was like my brother or sister, and I can pray for that soul. This soul is connected to me in a relative relationship, and she can also pray. She also got a lot of connection with devotees. So that soul is not lost. That soul will be somehow come back. Will come back and get a chance for self-realization, for God realization, for the ultimate benefit. And if we look at the whole arrangement in the material world, I say there is two companies, and both companies are fighting for our attention. Krishna's company, Krishna's marketing, and Maya's marketing, or illusions marketing. And so every one of you is so important that two companies are fighting for your business. So I say everybody is super important. Otherwise, why so much advertisement from Maya and from Krishna? And we are from the company of Krishna. We make advertisement for Krishna. We believe people will be happy when they are with Krishna. So why I'm saying this, because if you look, if you go like a couple of hundred of meters above London, or maybe kilometer, and then look and think about what's happening down there, and if there is any controller or God, what is he doing here? What is he trying to do? He's trying to tell us something that, look, you cannot be happy in the material world. There is always birth, old age, disease and death, and you need to get more serious about understanding your eternal nature. And then all kind of material things, gain and loss, these are all dualities of the material world. But Krishna is not cruel. Sometimes it's difficult, but Krishna is not cruel. He is just trying to give us a message that please understand, you will not be able to be happy here. Neither you nor anyone else. So if we have a broader perspective, then everything makes sense and nothing is an accident. And that soul who has lost its life very early is not innocent. That soul is not innocent. By his or her karma, that soul has deserved to lose life early. And that soul has taken away someone's life early in the past life. There is no injustice, there is no accident, everything is very precise. At least this is my understanding and belief. God is not whimsical at all. Does this make sense?
Do you know what? It does make sense, but it's terribly hard to accept for some reason. But it's logical, yeah, sure. But I don't know. I can feel a resistance in me. I'm embarrassed by it because it does make sense. I do feel resistance because there are such horrors and pains in the world. You know, I just wanted to give that example because of what you were talking about, abundance and just the whole concept of loss and you know. But I mean, there's some things that happen where it's so hard to see, to feel something merciful happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, sort of horrors that like, where is the mercy and compassion in this? It's sort of like, you know, just so overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. So we think that it's God's fault, but actually it's our responsibility. All these things that happen. This, we have created this. He has not created. He has just given us a field to mess around because we want it. And if we understand that we are responsible for these things, like for example, everybody likes to criticize leaders. I used to do that very nicely. I had a newsletter, and I was popular and unpopular within this movement, spiritual movement. And I realized this is not fair. I should better help each individual. And just don't criticize anyone. Help leaders also. And the most difficult thing I see is to take responsibility. And if each of us takes responsibility for what's happening, you know, within and without, then this will become an amazing place. Even planet Earth, which is also planet of death, but it doesn't matter. We are eternal. We will move on. We will get another body, or we will transcend. But all scriptures say that God is neutral. He's not even neutral. If you go one step towards Him, He's not neutral. He goes 10 steps towards you. So you cannot say He is 100% neutral. But He's not neutral in a positive sense, that He's, you know, giving extra mercy. And also there is, this morning somebody mentioned, our president mentioned that verse, that we get less than we deserve. Especially when you start on the spiritual path, God reduces a lot of your bad karma. Bad karma means what you have done, you need to suffer the consequences. And He is erasing most of it. He is leaving you some of this so that you can still be serious and things like this. So, anyway, you will see what makes sense to you, but I'm just trying to explain what is the scriptural perception and what is the experience of devotees. And you can interview devotees, what they have gone through and how Krishna helped them. I mean, every day I meet people and I ask myself how Krishna is helping this person and how Krishna is testing this person. And you know, everybody has an amazing journey. Okay, so let us.
I have
Yes?
a question.
Yeah.
Giving.
Yes.
Yes, we talked about giving. How do we draw a line between exploitation? Sorry. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. exploitation way. So when you're giving, there's always a thin line.
Yes.
And how personal journey, how do we, just the moment you decide you're charitable, let's see, there'll be hundreds of people, of which only maybe one person might be deserving. And we don't know that. The moment you want to give, there are people who want to extract.
Yeah.
And the extract could be in an exploitable way.
Yeah.
How do we get the intelligence, or how do we discern where to give and how much to give and when to
Right.
stop?
I say give, but don't be naive.
Yeah, but that needs intelligence, I think,
You have intelligence.
because sometimes they could be exploitative as well.
If you make a mistake, don't repeat it. Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita is giving 3 levels of charity, describing 3 levels of charity. One is in the mode of ignorance, one is in the mode of passion, and one is in the mode of goodness. In the mode of ignorance, for example, you give money to a person or something, they will misuse it. Like beggars come and they don't want food. They say, I'm hungry, but they actually want money to buy intoxication. But because you say, let's go, I buy you food in Sainsbury's or the temple. And then they accept, but they're not happy because they wanted money for something else. So you don't allow yourself a luxury to perform charity in the mode of ignorance and support ignorance of another person. Charity in the mode of passion means you are giving, but you want fame. You want something out of it. This is also not good kind of giving. And charity in the mode of goodness means that whatever you give, it's in people higher spiritual interest. I mean, you can feed them, but feed them prasadam. You can dress them in dhoti and sari. You don't have to, but just an example that, give them some spiritual dress. You can give them shelter, but then, the other day I was walking, I wanted to go all the way to Hyde Park, but it's too far. I mean, it's a couple of kilometers. And it was already 8:30 in the evening. And then I came back, and there was one boy, he has a sign, I am very hungry. And he's sitting, it was not too cold, sitting at the sidewalk. And I said, do you speak English? And he said, no. Where are you from? He said, Romania. So, can you walk with me? There is free food. It was just devotees were distributing in front of the temple. Like, I don't know, it was Saturday evening maybe? Last Saturday? And I say, are you really hungry? And he doesn't look like intoxicated, like a person who takes intoxication. He said, yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, so I said, okay, stay there. He also has a problem with the knee. And I said, stay here, I will bring you a plate. And I brought him a plate, and he took it. I forgot what I wanted to say, why I mentioned him. What was I saying before? Can you help me?
Giving in the modes.
The mode of giving, different modes that you're giving, and mode of goodness.
Yeah.
Mode of goodness is giving,
Mode of goodness is giving prasadam.
Yeah.
Oh no, I remember, thank you. Fantastic, I remember. So, we give prasadam, but we also ask a person to say Krishna's name, to say Hare Krishna, because he will benefit from this. It will be the beginning of his spiritual life. And I told him, Hare Krishna, say Hare Krishna. And he said, Hare Krishna. And then I gave him, and he said, God bless you. So, if you are distributing prasadam or if you are giving a shelter for people, we don't have this facility at the moment, but we will play kirtan, music, we want people to... So, this is a higher level charity. They benefit spiritually, they benefit emotionally, they benefit also like nutritionally. And we want to benefit people in all kinds of ways, in a holistic way. So you don't allow people to exploit your kindness. Okay?
With that, another one that comes with giving is there is a subtle ego. Oh, I am the giver. It doesn't happen always, but there are times, you know. Oh, then what happens is everything is good when things go bad. Remember, I did this for you, and this is how you're behaving, you know.
Yeah, we don't.
Do you
we don't.
understand where I'm going?
Yeah, we don't say like this. We're giving unconditionally, and also when we are giving, this is such a good point. I mean, you have to come to the next level of the training. This is actually belongs to the trusted guide section. It becomes to the trust comes, but I will mention it even 2 times. If you are successful in healing people, in helping people, in guiding people, in advising people, in counseling people, in coaching people, it's very dangerous to take credit. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nimitta matram bhava sarya sacha. You become instrument in my hands. So like Mother Teresa said, I'm a pen and God is writing with me. She said, if we don't show people that God cares about them, how they will know it? So basically she's saying, I am an instrument in Lord's hands. So in this way, false ego will not become puffed up, and you will be happy being an instrument and not taking credit, because He has given the food, He has given you energy, He has given you intelligence, and you just desire to do something nice, and you are happy to be instrument in His hands. Okay? Okay, so let us move to our next topic, which is become a trusted guide. And it's nice that we started with this. If you become a trusted guide, you don't become puffed up, but you become like a representative or an instrument in God's hands for doing wonderful things. Anybody knows Tony Robbins?
I've heard of him.
Motivational speaker. Yeah, recently I was looking at some samples that I collected of personal mission statements of different famous people, and his mission statements speak about serving God. I was really surprised, yeah. Yeah, he speaks about serving God and giving people joy and things like this.
He says that he's the tool.
Yes.
God, like he's serving God. That's why he helps the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not me, people. It's not me. It's God.
Oh, very nice. I mean,
That's how he says.
just recently, only recently, I realized this. So become a trusted guide. It's obvious that people need leadership and need guidance. And Bhagavad Gita also speaks about leadership. Actually, I want to give you a reference verse for the first part, for the Grow-Giver's Heart. It's 5.7. 5.7 in the Bhagavad Gita. It says that one who is in Krishna consciousness is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. It's 5.7. And this is due to his Krishna consciousness. So, Krishna conscious person is a servant of everyone. Krishna conscious person is a giver. Krishna conscious person wants to help. Selfless. And reference verse for become a trusted guide is 3:21. Whatever great man does, other people follow. Whatever example he sets by his acts, the whole world pursues. This is a leadership verse, and Srila Prabhupada explains that it's very important for a leader or a guide to be a good example for himself. And now we have here 4 roles of a trusted guide, 4 mindsets of a trusted guide, and 4 skills of a trusted guide. And what time is it now?
35 past 11.
Aha. So we can have a break around 12? Okay. Okay, that's nice. We have half an hour, around half an hour. Now, to be trusted, if you look at the word trusted, there are 2 things that are needed. But you tell me, whom do you tend to trust and why? Think for a minute. Whom do you tend to trust and why?
I trust people with whom I feel safe,
Okay.
with whom I don't feel judged. That's a big one for me.
Okay.
And with all that, I have the safety to be vulnerable and show my things I don't show on the street.
Right. It's confidential.
Confidence. Yeah.
Okay. A person who is not judging. And why would you feel safe with someone? I mean, what qualities do they need to have?
Yeah, right. What qualities do they need to have? I guess it's kind of for want of a better term, a kind of trusted record. They've got a record of keeping confidence, and I suppose a record of giving good advice. I don't know, something of those two things.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, so we have our reasons why we trust them. Can you open a little bit there? Yes.
Those who are honest, you tend to trust them more. And
Okay.
that honesty you can't. They, one place they talk, but another time they will lie, and that will just come up. So you tend to trust people who are more honest about themselves, and honest about what they speak.
Okay.
You tend to trust them. Somebody says, "I don't know." That's perfectly okay.
Right.
But you say you don't, and then you don't do it, or you can't do it, then it becomes obvious, and then you tend to trust them less.
Okay.
Somebody who takes responsibility as well.
Okay.
You tend to trust people
Oh,
who take
that's great.
responsibility.
Yes. Yeah. When somebody takes responsibility, it's quite obvious.
You tend to trust them more.
Yeah. Yes. That's wonderful. Anyone else? Whom do you trust and why? Yeah.
Sometimes when someone, it's when they're critical, when they criticize, sometimes, depending on whom that person is and how they present that criticism, it can actually be very beneficial to your ego, because you're not having a response in terms of where someone comments about something. You need to look at it as a way of, right, okay, they're trying to make me a better person, and they're not trying to use their own ego to go above mine.
So you trust someone who criticizes others?
No, who will criticize you, but in terms of for your own development.
Aha.
So it could be spiritual development, or in the material world, if it's a manager or a boss who kind of calls you into their office, or some kind of example like that, and says, you're lacking this, you're lacking that, but you have this, but you have that. Work on this, and you can get to that. I think that can really help.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So someone who gives you feedback, honest feedback.
Honest feedback, no matter if it's criticising or...
But with a good intention.
With good intention, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Otherwise, then it becomes an ego thing.
Right. Okay, one more please.
I think you sort of trust people in a limited way, don't you, really? I mean, for example, in school you trusted the teacher to teach you what was going to come up in the exam. Do you know what I mean? And when you get on a bus, you trust the driver that he will take you to a destination. But you wouldn't trust him, like maybe with your debit card or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes?
Just have a question. I was listening to a video by Jay Shetty, and he was talking about different levels of trust. What do you think about that kind of concept?
I don't remember that. If you can repeat it.
I think he was just talking about with different people. Say if you're meeting, I guess if you're meeting someone for the first time, you don't want to kind of disclose a lot of your information too early. Purely, I think, out of intention of like keeping true to yourself. I think obviously with time and experience, like you tend to open up a lot more to different people. I was just wondering what you think about the different kind of layers and how to go about that.
I think building trust is a science and an art. So I'm really grateful that I was able to read some books which explain, because Srila Prabhupada speaks about love and trust, that we should work based on love and trust, but I didn't know how to build trust. And I learned some things which are very tangible, very practical, how to build trust. One is making and keeping promises. It's very concrete. If somebody make a promise and doesn't keep it, nobody will trust them. I mean, you can do it 3 times maybe, give them 3 chances and like this. And now also trust is a choice. You choose to trust people, you choose to trust once, twice, but if they cheat you 3 times, then next time you say, sorry, I cannot trust you anymore. 3 times you promised, you didn't keep your promise. You always have some excuses. Of course, if excuses are like really, really valid, then you can accept it and you can give them a 4th chance. But we choose to trust anyone. Our starting point is this person is okay. When I was temple president, I was trusting 2 guys who came to the temple, very humble, everything, But then, coming to the programs, then when they left, I found alcohol bottles in their room. And they were pretending that they are following everything. So basically, I think they came for accommodation, for food. They were foreigners in my country. So I gave them trust, but I was cheated. And then now, next time, I was more careful. There are things that increase trust, and there are things that decrease trust. And trust is described like a bank account. You can invest, you can increase it by investing, and you can withdraw. So certain behaviors are withdrawals, certain behaviors are investments in the bank account. Or I forgot what is the other word. Withdraw and...
Put in.
Huh?
Deposit.
Deposits, yes. Deposits, yes. And making promise and keeping it is a deposit. Or, being considerate about certain things is a deposit. The huge deposit in a trust bank account between 2 people is understanding. Service is also do something for them. I mean, we have in our scriptures 6 loving exchanges. Giving prasadam, accepting prasadam, giving gifts, accepting gifts. These are all investments or deposits. Confidential conversations, this is also a deposit. So now for different people maybe there is slight difference, but usually the same things increase trust and the same things decrease trust. And I have 2 books that I can send you. One is called The Speed of Trust and one is called Smart Trust. Smart trust basically means don't allow people to cheat you when you trust. And Speed of Trust is a book that shows how much trust affects the bottom line, the hardcore measure of the results in the company, in life, like tangible. People think that trust is something maybe sentimental or in the air or airy-fairy, but actually trust increases. When there is trust, everything happens more quickly. That's why the book is called The Speed of Trust. And you get better results when you have trust. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so we have given a couple of points, and I think these things can fall into 2 categories: character and competence. If somebody only has a good character but he's not competent, we cannot trust them 100%. And if somebody is very competent but is, of a questionable character and a cheater, you don't want to work with them. They may be super competent. Of course, sometimes you don't care if the doctor is of a questionable character, if he can save your life, take out a cancer or something, operate you. But you make sure he doesn't charge you too much. He may take advantage. So character and competence. And for character, I would say 2 things are important. One is personal example, especially for us who are like monks and devotees. We need to be always a good example. or behavior or performance. And the second one is genuine concern and care for people. I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. This is something that we have a room for improvement, isn't it? We have a huge room for improvement to show people that we care, not only for their spirit, but also for their body, or not only for their body, but also for their spirit. and I would say that throughout our days and weeks, that actually small things can make a huge difference. Small things. Small acts of kindness, they say. Small acts of kindness show that we care. There was one boy, we had a program, Wisdom Wednesdays, one young gentleman, and I told him I will send him a book about coaching. He has been trained also as a coach. And then I wanted him to have a nice experience of receiving a book. So I sent him audio version, printed version, and a summary. and picture of Krishna. So I wanted him to never forget when he asked me for something, to have this kind of experience. And these kind of things, they can be, making some difference. Okay, so we have to go through our three lists, and I think we will not cover everything before the break. We will cover approximately half. 4 roles of a trusted guide: example, support, guidance, and challenge. Example, personal example, support, care, guidance, and challenge. So now I want to explain this phrase, trusted guide. Trusted guide can be anyone in any area of life. It can be a leader, it can be a salesman, it can be a parent. Any irresponsible person can be and should be a trusted guide for life. Trusted guide for life. So trusted guide is someone who has your best interest at heart. Trusted guide is someone who has both character and competence, who is trustworthy. That's why he is called trusted guide. It's trustworthy. You can trust them. They have your interest at heart, and they show it. They not only speak about it, they show it. And this is the lack of leadership in the world, is that leaders always tell people that they care about them, but most of the time it is discovered that they only wanted something for themselves or their families. But we don't want to become such leaders. We want to become someone who genuinely cares for people. So personal example is that your behavior is exemplary. You behave according to the Shastric injunctions. You try to follow the saintly character of devotees. Then support, you show care and genuine interest in people. In support, it's very important to listen, to be able to listen. One quality of materially intelligent people is that they don't have patience to listen. If you say a couple of things, they will jump in and enlighten you for the next 3 hours. No patience to listen. I learned one thing recently. After 6 years of my life, last year, I learned that I should not interrupt people. I'm sorry. I should not, when they speak, let them finish the sentence and let some seconds pass before you start to speak. Don't interrupt people, don't finish their sentences. That's culture. Let people finish their sentence. Support. Guidance, you need to know something in order to teach something. You need to have some experience, especially in the school of hard knocks. When you have experience, you can teach people what to avoid, what to accept. And we have challenge sometimes in a coaching session, the client agrees to be challenged, or he chooses the challenge, and the coach holds him accountable. So one of the roles of a trusted guide is to create some interesting challenges. Like for example, here there is a marathon time, December, and there is a challenge. You want to distribute 10,000, 15,000 books. This is one example. Or any kind of task that needs to be, that is a little bit difficult, or more than that. Like, so Prabhupada said, the leaders should always create an atmosphere of a fresh challenge, so that people can rise and meet it and grow through this. Challenge is not meant to frustrate us, it's meant to help us grow. The riskiest life is life without risk. Yeah, without challenge. Because there is no comfort in the comfort zone. After some time, comfort zone becomes painful. So we always have to push forward, somehow. That's the meaning of spiritual warrior. He never sits still. Arjuna was a warrior in the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, I want to meditate. And Krishna says, meditate on taking a sword and fighting. Because this is your duty, you're a Kshatriya. Now, Kurukshetra, it's a historical event, this battle, but also our life sometimes is like a Kurukshetra. So if we take life a little bit like a battle, then we will be inclined more to take a role of a hero instead of a victim. There is two roles that you can take in life. You can be a victim or you can be a hero. And if you look in the movies, you always have these two types of characters. Somebody is a victim and somebody is a hero. And usually hero saves the victim, or tries to save the victim. But you can choose. If you have any difficult situation, you can choose your attitude. Attitude of a victim, so that means you're complaining, you're weak, you know what it means, and you can say, okay, let me fight. This is a good challenge for me. You have that power to choose one or the other. You can do that. If you remember this, you are well off. Only this, if you remember, you are well off to meet the life's challenges. I would like to give you a break now. We will do 4 mindsets and 4 skills after the break. So 10-minute break. If you hear me singing the next song, that means that in a few minutes we will start. So please have a break. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.